Um, Chris, what are conversions? Conversions are new customers. So with Performance Max campaigns, you have the options in the settings that are under the customer acquisition section. So
Yeah.
why don't you walk people through the two options you have for acquiring customers?
Well, it's actually I would say there's actually three, but we'll say
What's
there's
a
two.
I'm curious, what's the third one?
Okay, so first of all, and I think this is great news, honestly, because you say I want customers. Well, whether you're selling T-shirts or you're a plumbing company, a customer can mean different things. And one thing that absolutely those two companies would agree with is a returning customer is not worth as much because you want that returning revenue. You want people that keep coming back and buying more T-shirts, right? So they're placed on a different level than someone who's never been to the site, who's never interacted with the company before. These would be brand new customers, non-returning customers. These two levels of value is something that is recognized in the Performance Max campaign, which I think is great. They did not really have to do this. I mean, they can say, look, you're generating customers. What's the problem? But they've recognized that there is a value difference between them. And it's much easier to generate conversions from returning customers, right? That's
Yeah.
really easy to do. And it would not be nearly as powerful to say, hey, I just got you 200 more sales. Don't ask what they were
Yeah,
searching
that,
for.
that didn't exist in your system before that you couldn't do email remarketing to and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think brand new for most businesses probably is more valuable, but at the same time, every business is unique, and maybe for some of them they're trying to get in front of existing customers more and more, and maybe existing customers spend more on like e-commerce, put more money in their
that's true.
basket, something
That's
like
true.
that. So you have the option. What's the third one, Chris? New
Well,
versus
the
existing customers.
and this is something I've been playing with on some of mine. That what I would say is the third is that you can say that you can opt. There's a checkbox on there that says you
Ooh,
can optimize for acquiring new customers. So you can still say that you can do bidding for new customers and existing
existing, yeah.
customers, and then you can say take it just a tick higher and say, okay, optimize for acquiring new customers. So it's kind of just an initial little push because before you jump over into completely different territory, the other option is bid only for new customers. So we'll simplify it and say there's two, but essentially you can say give me both new customers and existing.
Mm.
That's option one. Option two is only bid for new customers. Now, Google
I
makes it
don't, I
very
don't, I
clear.
don't think you need to play down this third option. I think that's a great thing you brought to the
Okay.
table here, because it's a huge setting they're kind of showing us there. So if you click optimize campaign for acquiring new customers, you will then have the option only new customers, or do you just want to bid more for new customers, like they're more valuable, and still show to existing customers? If you do only bid for new customers, they give you a warning there, and they say basically your campaign's not going to run unless you have 1,000 active members.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that means like a remarketing list or something like that,
Right.
possibly a customer match thing. But
Well,
you have you
it's
have
probably just
yeah,
a signal. They probably just don't have enough signal and data to make that happen. They
yeah,
don't know
you
the
you have to
profile
have an
enough.
audience. Oh, there it is, an audience segment.
Yeah.
So the audience segment you create has to have at least 1,000 active members for them to be able to say, okay, these are your active members. We're not going to target them.
Members, and those are
Yeah.
conversions. That not just
Ooh.
audience. Those are people
Yeah.
that are a part of a acquisition audience, not just people who came to your site. So it's even higher level.
I think so. I think so. But the point is, I've tried this multiple times, or not multiple times. I tried it a few times, and each time we've been hit with that 1,000 active members. And
Yeah.
one time I saved it without reading through that, and the Performance Max campaign
Just
stopped running.
yeah. Yeah.
So I err on the side of leaving existing customers on because most of the time we have to, and I'm not too worried about that existing versus new because the bidding will kind of figure that out for us. Like, why would existing customers, like, why would an existing customer of a plumbing company show up as a conversion over and over? You know what I mean? Like, unless they had a real reason to call that plumbing company. Like, are they just going to
Well,
call to say hi?
in my experience, what tends to become really prevalent is companies like e-commerce companies or something like that, that people use Google as a bookmarking engine where they essentially just search for the brand name, then click on that and then purchase. Same thing with lead acquisition. You know, they're just wanting to call the company, so they search for the company's phone number on Google and then call straight from that ad. You know,
And
that's
so
that's
if
what
that's
bugs me.
the case, it looks like you need to, if you're worried about that, you can check on the bid higher for new customers, bid higher for
Yes.
new customers than existing customers, and then you can give the new customers a higher value on their
And that's
conversions, and then you'll
that
drive
is
more without. Yeah.
that's like a fourth level of precision that we can do, because you can edit the value of that new customer and give it something really high so it would really
And then
prioritize.
it goes back to the campaign setting goal. Like, do you want max conversions with a target, or do you want max ROAS? And in this case, you could do max ROAS. And like, if your new customer was like a 1-for-1 value, and an existing was 1-for-1 and a new was 2-to-1,
Yeah.
and your goal was getting a 4-to-1 return, they would obviously get you a lot more new
Yeah, they would
customers than
go for the
existing.
new. Yeah.
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 Very cool.
Um,
Very cool.
I mean, I honestly, I'm
Very
impressed
cool, right, Chris?
because
Very
there's
cool.
a depth of bid and lead acquisition management that I wouldn't really expect.
Well,
So
what I'm impressed is they've put themselves in the shoes of people like us and our clients who are spending a lot of money on Google, who want to spend a lot of money on Google, but we want it to work the way we want it to work for our
yeah.
business, and we want those options. And that's they're giving us more and more of those options here, which I love.